So I've brought these in, and the numeric keys are in the right place. The playback controls are all in the right place. But our logo is backwards, right? Because the logo is meant to be on the back of the product, and it's come in facing the top because everything is brought in, well, facing front. And so we need to mirror these across, and it's actually pretty straightforward to do that. So let's go into one of our sketches. I'm going to, let's say, exit this sketch. I'm going to enter into my first Magnanimous Dan sketch. And inside there, we have a block, right? Now, a block is kind of like a sketch within a sketch. You can see it still looks grayed out, but actually I can drag it around. I can move it. A block is like a group. It's a way of grouping together geometry that goes together and that we don't accidentally want to change in any way, like a logo. Blocks are really powerful. They're really important. You can copy and paste blocks. You can reuse blocks. You can scale blocks, rotate blocks. They're great. But we need to be able to mirror this, and that's something that's not built into blocks. We have to do it a little bit, well, in a roundabout way. So let's look straight at our sketch here for a second. And we are editing our sketch, even though it's grayed out. Don't worry about that. I'll go up and grab my center line tool, and I'm going to draw a center line from the origin straight up, just so that we have it there. Now I'll select any edge on my block. And that's going to turn everything else pink. And that gives us the opportunity to, say, change the scale of our block and rotate it and all that kind of stuff. But what we want to do is come right up here to the Mirror Entities command, and it's going to assume that we want to mirror our entire logo block. And we do. We're not going to copy it. We're just going to move the whole thing and mirror about, well, you guessed it, it's that line we just drew. And now it's going to mirror it all across. We hit OK, and now we have our backwards logo. We can exit the sketch, and we're good. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to do that to my other logo as well. So I'm going to edit that sketch now and grab, first of all, we'll need a center line, once again, right in the middle, like so. Then I'll select my logo, Mirror Entities, do not copy, and mirror about that new line. Hit OK. Now we have two fully backwards logos ready to use. And you can see that we actually have those other sketches here as well. And they all look like a jumble, but that is no big deal because now we are ready to actually start making something out of these things. And before we shoot this back over to engineering land, there's one more thing we definitely need to do, and that is to organize this file a little bit. We have a lot of stuff going on here, and it's a little bit, it's going to be hard for people to keep up with what all these different things do. So let's just rename some things so that they make sense. So I'm going to call this my top dimensions. And I'll call this one my side dimensions. And we can call this our top loft. We could rename this bottom loft. We'll call this one, those mirrors can stay the way that they are. Go sketch 2. That way when we send this over, it's going to be real easy for people to know what they are. Also, we have surface bodies here that are going to be imported, and it's helpful if we have descriptive names for those. So this top surface body, I'm going to call this my top housing outer, and we'll call this our bottom housing outer. All right? And so without further ado, let's save this, and let's jump over and see what Josh is up to over in engineering.